Welcome back, guys, to the Jerbear Sigma experience. Today, we're going to be talking about machine learning and driving.
Jerbear Sigma experience.
Let's talk about machine learning and driving boards. First off,
Uh-huh.
what are your guys' opinions on just machine learning on driving in general, or like the integration of machine learning in maybe some self-driving cars and driverless cars?
Honestly, I find that concept kind of scary.
Yeah,
Oh,
same. I have
because
to agree
like,
with Niles there.
I
Because
feel that for driving, there's some level of human judgment that you have to have.
yeah,
Like,
personally, I want to not die, and I feel uh, like AI driving can lead to me dying very easily.
So your problem is mostly that you don't trust the AI to
Yeah, yeah,
drive, right?
yeah. I mean,
I
there's like videos of like Tesla's drivers, right? You know how there's an iPad in a Tesla, and like
yeah.
like when you're driving it, it identifies the vehicles beside your lane or in front of you, right?
hmm
mhm.
And then a lot of the times it misidentifies a lot of vehicles as something else. I
Mm.
just
Uh-huh.
don't find that very convincing of its safety,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a
No, I
fan
could,
either.
I could corroborate this because like, my mom uses a Tesla. She drives a Tesla, and sometimes they'll recognize pedestrians as traffic cones.
Right?
And
And you can run over traffic cones, but you can't really run over a person.
like I feel that if it were ever to get into a situation where I had to choose between running into what it perceives to be a car or traffic cones, of course it's gonna choose traffic cones, right?
Right,
But
yeah,
then you're gonna end up hitting people.
right, like you're talking about how like if the AI has to make a decision on whether it can like
Yeah,
afford
or
or
even if
quote
it's like
unquote
an
afford
old
to run over
person
this
or a
thing.
young person, can it tell the difference, or will it just hit one of them? Like,
So
how
it's gonna
will
like
it make
hit
Let's
that
just not
someone.
decision?
let's not bring that entire argument into this.
But I think that's like one of the main arguments that people think about. Like, how will a car make the choice between human lives or like other things? Like, if it sees a deer, will it swerve or will it hit it? Because the main consensus of like,
It probably just depends on the situation.
I
It's very
guess,
situational.
but like most people would say it's better to just hit the deer than to try to swerve and then avoid it because your car might flip. But for the AI, would it just like hit it even if there's a chance that it can just not hit it? Because like, how would
I
you
doubt
program
that.
that?
I
Like,
really doubt.
how like what distance would it have to be for it to be
Wait.
safe to like avoid the deer? You know what I mean?
That's
Mhm.
not really like the AI. Like it's just it's just very highly situational. Um, like it's there's so many different factors that could play into that will affect the decision of the AI. I believe, like the traffic or how many other objects it detects around it, the speed at which the deer is going at, the distance. I don't know. There's like so many variables that goes into making that decision.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem because I wouldn't trust an AI to make that decision with all the variables. I would more trust a human to do it because they can analyze like all those things at like a very fast pace. And
Mm,
I don't know if it's like more optimal for the AI to do it, but I would like I don't know, I just don't trust it.
I don't know. I don't think I don't really agree with a person could analyze that at a very fast pace.
Speaking
Oh,
of
because
analyze,
in a lot of situations like that, people would just like tend to panic.
mm, and speaking of like analyzing or like paying attention to the road, um, like you know how when you buy a Tesla, they're like you're not supposed to use the autopilot feature to rest, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
just straight up sleep, but people
True.
do it anyways.
Yeah.
Like they're even bold enough to like record themselves doing it. So
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like even
Surprisingly,
now,
I
a
just
lot of people are
watched.
just like over reliant on self-driving cars already.
I just
They're
watched
like,
a
wow.
video like this morning about how about I think an interviewer speaking about Elon Musk, speaking to Elon Musk about this issue, and then Elon Musk, I don't know, I think this has been integrated a long time ago, but it's that if like your hands aren't on the wheels for a certain amount of time, then it's gonna start slowing down and then have emergency lights back on, and then have inside the car it's gonna have like alarms to try and wake the driver up. But then at the same time, people also like invented like things that mimic the
Much of a human.
yeah,
Like
exactly, to bypass that. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
would say that driverless vehicles, I would trust it more if it's something like a train where it's on tracks and it can't leave those tracks. I
Yeah.
don't
Mhm.
trust it as much for
Like-
like actual cars.
Like it's fine for like the Skytrain, which it is, right?
Yeah,
Is Skytrain? I thought it's like
I
manually
think so.
controlled.
it's.
No,
I
think
think,
it's
it's
automated.
driverless.
I
Yeah,
think
it's driverless.
It's driverless, but I think is there no control?
There's
Um,
control, but
but I-
like it's driverless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's control like in a room somewhere far
Mhm,
away,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know. They probably don't do too much. They like route where the stuff is going, which makes sense. I don't know. I wouldn't trust like I would rather. I mean, I'd rather be in a driverless car than drive beside a driverless car, because I
True.
feel like it's safer for the driverless car than to like be near one. Because if it makes a mistake, it might hit you.
Yeah, but like in the driverless car, you can still control. We're talking about like driverless cars where you can still technically control,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can still give input, right? Yeah.
Although I feel like if all cars were driverless, it would probably be safer because they would know where each of them are at the time.
Mm,
Like if every single one was driverless, I feel like it would be pretty alright.
I think that kind of
I
ties
think
back
that's
to our
super
like
hard to do.
our
Yeah, it's
like
not-
the
Not yet, but
the AI sports thing that we talked about last time.
the teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Speaking about
Yeah, I
sports,
guess it would be similar.
speaking about sports, racing,
Formula One.
Formula One uses machine learning, to kind of improve each team's like not only the team's driver but also the car design. So they do this by just basically installing sensors in the car and having live measurements, which is like millions of measurements every single second, to
Yeah,
I guess
they
best
have a-
optimize their car.
Pico.
What is your opinion on this? Like, because technically, in a way, it's not really a
Wait,
driver.
isn't
machine learning.
AI
It's
processing
more like-
data, or is it like a person?
No, it's people. It's the race engineers processing the data. So I'm not really sure if that's
I'm not sure if that's
related
really
to
machine
machine
learning.
learning or
Then it's
AI.
just like collecting data and then optimizing
Yeah.
based off that.
Is that not machine learning? That it's having
Mm.
data. It's taking in data that's from. Oh, I guess it might be just an algorithm, but I don't know. There's so many parameters that you need to adjust. That so
Like if I just took pictures of the weather and pictures of a box, and then trying to optimize like how much I don't know rain the box can catch in a certain period of time, is that, and like it's me analyzing it. I don't think that's really machine learning. That's more just
no,
like
it's I don't know. I don't
collecting-
think it's a more of the algorithm that's analyzing it, not people.
Oh, have we defined machine learning yet?
I think we
Sure
did
we did.
in one of the episodes, but we can do it again just quickly.
Okay.
Wait, I got this.
Alright,
Okay,
Yo,
let's
he's
go.
spoken.
is the use and development of computer systems that are able to learn and adapt without following explicit instructions by using algorithms and statistical models to analyze and draw inferences from patterns in data. And I totally did not just read it off.
Right. So
Yeah,
so
I totally
like
don't
back
see
to
this in
the
part of my
Formula
screen,
One thing, right? I feel like that's not really machine learning because it's not the
It is an
computer
algorithm.
doing.
No, it is the computer doing, and it's like giving back. I'm pretty sure it's giving back responses.
I
It's
think
giving the results to
machine
the
learning-
engineers.
That's I guess yeah.
I think that's more of a tool than a reliance, though. Because it's still up to the engineers to actually implement it, and also it's up to the drivers to be able to, like, I guess, understand the information and to, like, use it. Because it's not the machines that are driving the cars. It's just, like, an assistance to see what they could do better.
In
Yeah,
this
for
case,
machine
in this
I
case
think,
would be a good like a good utilization of
Good
machine
use.
learning. Yes.
I would say it is, yeah. But also, disclaimer, I don't know that much about Formula 1 or racing, so I'm not like super sure.
For it to be machine learning, doesn't the machine have to be like independent, be able to work and adapt by itself without humans, in a sense? Yeah.
I think that's unsupervised, so I
Yeah.
suppose a supervised machine learning would be able to have a little bit of human influence. I'm
Mhm.
gonna also use the bathroom really quick. You guys can continue.
But it can't be controlled by human entirely.
Controlled by humans. What do you mean?
Like for it to be machine learning, it can't just be following whatever the human writes exactly, right? Like what the human codes or something exactly.
I don't know. It might be just taking, okay, having an algorithm that collects data, and based on that data, that sends kind of in a loop. It's like you take in data. So, let me just search this up real quick. Okay, so according to Java Point, there are 6 steps in machine learning. First one's gathering data. Second's data preparation. Third is data wrangling. 4 is data analysis. 5th is is train the model. 6th is to test the model, and 7th is actual deployment. Oh, yeah, I don't understand. Oh well, that's 7 steps.
Oh, well.
Seven steps. You know, 7
I
steps.
think I mostly understand what all of it is except for data wrangling.
Okay, data wrangling. Data wrangling is the process of clean and converting raw data into a usable format. Oh, I'm guessing it's just kind
So
of
Oh,
like
it's-
converting it into a readable form.
yes.
Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Data preparation, which kind of differs from data wrangling, is more about
Preparing the data for data wrangling.
what the hell? Like, okay, you know what? But you kind of get the gist of it, which is getting data, kind of processing it for the model. You analyze the data for like to build a model, right? And you build the model, you test it, and then you actually use the model, and then it goes in a cycle again, which the model itself then collects data, and then it processes and gives a result to better optimize something, and goes in the cycle again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. I think that follows for what they use it for F1, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
we've discussed previously that this is a good thing, but like,
Mhm.
what if you have a perspective that maybe argue that this technically, in a way, argue that this machine learning aspect of F1 is completely independent on itself, and it's not really up to this, like the spirit of like the sport's competitiveness, because it's kind of like the AI doing the job for you.
I suppose, but I think because it's analyzing and not actually building the car or driving it, it's still up to the engineers and up to the driver to like optimize their car. And also, no matter how good your car and how good I mean, I think it still matters how good your driver is. So, let's say you have the best car, but your driver is kind of mid. You're probably still gonna lose to somebody who has like maybe not as optimized of a car, but the driver is really really good. There's a similar quote in like the new Gundam show where they determine like they duel with their robots, right? And they basically made a statement that it's not dependent on either just the driver or the pilot, I guess, for Gundam. It's not just solely dependent on the pilot, and it's not solely dependent on the robot. It's a blend of both, and so I think that's pretty similar in this case, where you still need both of the car and the driver to be optimized, and the AI just kind of helps with that. So I would say it's a pretty like good use of AI or machine learning.
Yeah, I understand your point now, Luke, of this discussion being very on and off.
From the editor here, I tried to edit out as much of the blank space as I could, so that's why it may seem more or less coherent, but in the original draft there were a lot more blank spaces even in between sentences. So this is why we were talking about how inconsistent our conversation was and how it was very on and off.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to say. Say.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't
Like-
really we didn't even answer the question that we were trying to answer. So I feel like maybe we should just like not include this part. It's
Wait,
like
what
not very
questions do we
good.
have left?
Ah,
Like, what
We have
questions
the
do we
last
still-
two. So it's what are different claims made by people and communities and their roles in machine learning? Identify three,
Yeah, I see.
and which is like we tried to do like Tesla and stuff. And then your group's opinion towards AI after all the research and your conclusion on the future of AI and whether you think AI will destroy the world or make it a better place. It's okay, we'll leave that for the conclusion. We can just think about it for now.
Like that last question has been around for like a long,
Forever.
long
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Like literally Terminator movies. Like,
I mean, you could even argue that
all the
it's not only for machine learning. Like that question has been around for like literally
just AI
since
in general.
technology started. No, it's
Yeah,
like
will
even
computers
even
guess,
back
yeah.
in probably in the caveman days when they're like, oh, we fight with rocks instead of our fists now. Is that ethical, right? Because like if you just slam somebody on the head with a rock and they only have their fist, it's probably gonna end poorly for the guy with the fist.
Undiff.
But
Yeah, it's
wouldn't
actually
we-
just a weapon diff.
diffed.
But
Weapon
I'd
diffed.
I'd assume they'd be more focused on survival rather than thinking whether it's right or not.
That is fair, probably because they weren't super intelligent back then. But there's got to be a point where they realized, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be killing other humans.
Mm,
No, I mean, eventually there's gonna be a point where they realize that. Like at the start, they're
I mean,
probably
there has
like,
to be, right?
yeah, there's got to be because we end up with
Because
not killing
we end
people
up
now.
not wanting to kill people.
Now,
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure like the very first humans were probably like, I need to kill this person because I want to kill this
Mm.
person or something.
I don't think so. I think the very first, when like humans were a small group, obviously they'd want to like survive together. It's when they split up into other groups, then they started having like wars and disagreements. Because disagreements probably weren't fought to the death at that point. Like if there's only one group of humans.
Right.
Maybe when they started having those bigger disagreements and they started considering killing each other, then that's when they started splitting into separate groups.
Anyone
So,
else have any?
what's the deal with the airplane food?
I have an uncle that really likes it, so we always just save it for him.
Oh no! I actually said that. Actually sparked discussion. Oh
Yeah.
no.
I've only been on like Philippine Airlines, or like I've
Uh-huh.
only eaten on Philippine
South
Airlines.
China
It's
Airlines.
like some of it
no,
is
okay.
okay, and some of it sucks.
Apparently, okay. So this is during the science fair. Apparently, your taste buds lose their sensitivity by around 30%, which is probably why we think airplane food sucks.
No.
No, when you bring it down, it still sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, I
It-
And some of it's still
Like-
good. Like if they give you dried mangoes, it's still gonna taste good.
maybe it's the fact that it's like all pre-prepared
also,
and
like-
probably frozen.
Wait. By 30%, what do you mean by that? Could you further expand what you mean by 30%?
Like our perception of saltiness and sweetness drops by 30%.
Well, if
Like basically
if
we
their
taste
perception of
salt and sugar by 30% less.
is it only those two?
I think it's all taste.
I probably all taste.
It would make more sense.
Well, then if it's all taste, then doesn't it just kind of balance out?
No, it would be more bland.
No,
'Cause
no,
you still
everything
know
would just
what it
taste
should
more
be taste.
bland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still know what it should taste like. It just doesn't taste that way to you at the
like
time.
like the fruit they give you, like the quote unquote fresh fruit they gave you just tastes kind of like there's no flavor. It's not sweet or anything.
What if the
Um,
research about how on airplane food like we lose the taste is real, but that we like our brains are wired because it's such in a similar environment that oh we've eaten this so many times we know what it like tastes like and it's kind of like fool.
Possibly. There's like one pizza place in Whistler and I really like this pizza. It's called Avalanche Pizza. It's like my favorite pizza of all time. and it only tastes good when you eat it in Whistler. If you bring it back down and then like reheat it, or even if it's still hot and you like drive down the mountain and then you eat it, it doesn't taste good.
What's on it? Do you remember?
Oh, it's just normal pizza. There's like pepperoni,
oh.
there's cheese, there's like different flavors. But I think it's something to do with the altitude in Whistler because you're so high up, right? So I think it tastes different up there.
Damn.
I don't know if that's not scientific. I just like it just tastes better
Damn,
up
that
there.
lack
I've
of
tried it
oxygen
more than
tastes
once.
pretty nice.
There could also be a lot of other factors which play into
Speaking,
how,
Of course.
like, I guess maybe the excitement of being in Whistler could also affect how you taste something.
Possibly.
Like you could have a very mid meal like Disneyland or something, which like a lot of the food there actually is. But then like you could say like, oh, this actually tastes good. But
like
like
the giant turkey leg.
yeah.
speaking of pizza, I had like my favorite pizza on this one cruise I had because it was like every single time around 8 when I get hungry, my dad would just take me to this pizza place and get like one of those singles, and then I'd be so happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's free, isn't it? On
No, it's not.
cruises?
It's
Oh,
like
you had to pay
from one of
for
the
it?
restaurants. Yeah,
Unlucky.
it's from one of those restaurants, but it tasted really good.
Yeah, when I was like 7 or so, wait, no, it might have been earlier. My uncle, my dad's older brother, he was in the room next to us, and then in the middle of the night at like 12, as like a 6-year-old, I'd knock and then ask him if he wants to go eat pizza, and then we'd like go up as a family to eat pizza and then go back down and go to sleep.
Based.
That was like one of the few cruises that I've been on. I really like cruises because it's
Oh
just
my God.
it's so relaxing. There's like nothing
It
to
is,
do,
and it's like
but
so
it's so cool.
like the concept of it being 10 and then just the family unanimously agreeing that they're hungry and then just going
Yeah,
down
I
to
know,
the buffet
right?
and
That's
eating.
Yeah,
sick.
that's nice, but like I
Miles
don't know.
doesn't like cruises that much.
I don't think I can see a cruise the same anymore now.
Oh, because you got
Yes.
COVID.
Dude, oh my god. So,
No.
like last summer, I went on a cruise, with Celebrity. Celebrity is like, it appeals
Cruise
to
company.
a more like older demographic, a more quote unquote mature demographic,
I
meaning
like
that
celebrity. Celebrity's nice.
meaning that there isn't anything cool like anything that me,
There's a pool.
an absolute mouth breather, would want to do. Right? So then
You
I
swim,
like
right?
I like
So-
Caribbean.
So then
Yeah, I like Caribbean.
throughout, literally all I did was just eat and go to my room and play Smash with my brother.
Bro.
Okay, I
then-
mean that's kind of
And then like after like 3 days in, I went like, oh no, you have COVID-19. I was locked in my room for so long. I was bored out of my mind, bro. I was actually going crazy.
you
And like
you
and, like,
sounded a
the
lot
thing
like
is,
your
in my
brother right
room,
then.
my Wi-Fi was so bad. Like it'd take 5 minutes for one message to send.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You were
Uh-huh.
messaging me, and it took like 30 minutes. I still have a screenshot. You're like,
Bro.
I sent this message at like 9:18, and then it was like 9:50, and then I was like, I sent a screenshot of like the message that you sent.
And then,
It's so
and then
funny.
I said that, oh, I have to wait for this to load. Give me a couple minutes.
And then like an hour later, you're like,
Oh
oh,
my
it took 30 minutes, lol.
I remember
so
one of
funny.
the most fun things I did. Okay, a few fun things I did on the cruise was playing mini golf, going to the arcade, going to the swimming pool despite not knowing how to swim. I don't know how I didn't
the
drown.
only thing my shitter cruise had was a swimming pool, and
That's
the swimming,
fine.
and,
At
like,
least you had Wi-Fi.
Okay, but you know what was really epic?
but
They had Megamind on the TV.
so based.
When I went on cruises, we didn't even have Wi-Fi, and I couldn't use the TV because like I didn't know how. I mean, to be fair, I was like 6, so I just thought it was
I only
cool.
had Wi-Fi because it was included with our plan that we had with the travel agency.
Oh, well, the last cruise I went on, that was an overnight cruise, was for my grandfather's. I think that was his 85th birthday. Wait, no, maybe it wasn't. I don't remember what year it was, but anyway, it was an overnight cruise from Seattle to Vancouver. That place was so cool. There's like, it was basically an entire mall on a boat. There's like,
Well, a lot of
There's-
cruises have that.
Yeah, there's like
Like-
really nice shops, and then there's like so many restaurants. The food was
thing is-
pretty good.
The thing is with like shops on the ship, it feels like all the time they're so expensive and there's nothing that would really appeal to me. It's like all designer shit.
Yeah, of course you're not gonna buy it, but it's so cool to look around. I never buy stuff when I go shopping. I just like looking at it. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try this on, and then it's like $800. No, I'm not buying it. I just want to try it on. It's window shopping. It's the best. You don't have to feel bad
I know,
about
I
buying it.
can't
You
do
just
that.
look at it.
Yes, go skin window shopping.
Oh my
Real.
god! Like another thing with the cruise that I went on is that the food was so bad.
Oh,
Like,
that's unfortunate. Oh, maybe it's because
the room service food. Literally, the best thing that they had were the appetizer chicken skewers.
oh,
Like I ordered a burger, right? The bun was cold. The patty was literally still a little bit cold on the inside.
God.
The the,
Oh my
the tomato was super thick, and like the fries felt like rocks.
bruh.
And also even like not for room service, sometimes the food was kind of bad. Like you know how in cruises there's a dining hall,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like for
The
dinner and
buffet?
stuff. No,
Yeah.
no, the buffet is different.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The
So
buffet
my
slaps so hard.
sorry.
The buffet slaps
This,
so hard.
dude, the buffet
Yeah,
is
it's so
always
good.
the buffet is always good. But like even the dining hall sometimes is kind of bad. Like when I had COVID, my family brought me a meal from there after they ate dinner, and it was lobster night. So then
Huh?
we got lobster tails. Dude,
Ooh,
mine
I lo-
was so fucking salty. Literally, the only
Unlucky.
thing I ate on that plate was the vegetable mix, which was like corn, carrots, and peas.
Don't they
So-
give you
lobster? That's
So
really
bad.
interesting.
don't they give you like ice water? You can just dunk your lobster in it. That's what I did whenever something was too salty.
You see, my water
like-
supply was finite.
What?
Oh.
Oh, because I had COVID.
Bruh. That's unfortunate.
I don't
I don't
like
know.
cruises, bro.
I really like cruises. Because I just like going places. Anywhere. Like it doesn't matter. Like even like yeah,
I just
any
like-
place is cool. Like I can spend hours just watching the window.
Oh yeah, same.
though it's just water.
Like people are like, I hate plane rides. It's so boring. But I can literally stare out the window for like hours.
It's named Middle Aisle.
I really like plane rides,
That's why I
but the
never-
thing is,
I
I
never
sleep
choose the
so
middle
well on plane rides. Like, I will sleep like 18 hours straight on a plane ride.
Dude, I
For me-
cannot sleep.
okay.
Dude, I don't know why, but my experience with vehicles other than cars is so bad. Literally, when I was on my way back from the Philippines this year, the guy beside me literally shat his pants, bro. He laid to
I
the
remember
fat
that.
dookie in his pants, and I just smelled it the entire way through. Oh my god, dude,
my
he didn't
God.
even get up to clean himself up, bro. He was just walking around with a giant log in his pants.
Yeah, he told us about that.
Oh
my
my
God.
god. Oh my god.
Yeah, I really like plane ride. I can sleep in like any vehicle. I can sleep in a plane. I can sleep in a car. I can sleep in a like a train or a bus.
Same.
I sleep
I
way
am-
better in any vehicle than in my bed.
I cannot
Okay.
sleep on public
Oh, same,
transit.
same.
I cannot.
I've only started sleeping on like in vehicles in the past like 2 years, but that's just because I get so burnt out during the day. Like when I was little, I couldn't sleep in vehicles at all. Like I can go on a like from Richmond to Banff driving, right? Not a single moment where my eyes were closed. Or like on
That's
on
crazy.
Bro
planes,
doesn't
yeah.
blink.
I mean by like taking a nap or anything like that.
I know.
Like plane rides, train rides, cruises. Well, like, not cruises. I sleep on
On
cruises.
cruises, you kind of need to sleep.
Yeah, like
I'm the
trains,
full opposite of that.
planes, cars. Like, I don't sleep during the trip, and I don't get tired. I don't get really tired when I get there.
I'm the full
Right.
opposite of that. When I was a little kid and I couldn't sleep in my bed, my parents would like put me in a car seat, drive me around the block, and by the time they went around the block, I was asleep. And then
Good
they would
thing-
just bring
good
me back
thing-
up.
Good thing this happened when gas prices weren't that expensive.
I mean, that was when I was like 2. I remember once, it was like, I think it was like 9:30, because I used to sleep at like 7, and it was like 9:30, and I couldn't sleep. So my parents just like brought me into the car, and then they didn't even like make it out of the driveway, and I was already asleep.
Bruh.
And then they just like carried me back up, and I slept in the car seat for like the whole night.
I can't sleep that well in vehicles other than cars. Like,
Oh.
yeah, I don't know. I cannot sleep well on planes. Like, even from here to Philippines, I can't sleep for just like 16 hours.
Seriously.
Yeah, I just stay awake the entire time. I stay awake for the rest of the day in the Philippines and just crash.
Oh
Like,
right,
I-
yes. For some reason, like when I fly to China, the whole trip, even when there's a I don't know what you call it, like when you have to get off at an airport and then transfer
Layover?
flights.
Yeah, layover.
Yeah, layover. When there's a layover, I don't sleep. I get there and I'm still not tired. Just like a whole last day where me, like a 10-year-old child, it does not get tired.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, my mom doesn't sleep on planes very well either. Like, I'll watch like a movie, sleep for like 8 hours, watch another movie, and then sleep for the remaining 6 hours on a flight to the
Bro,
Philippines.
I'm too busy watching Wally and freaking Finding Nemo.
Yeah, bro. Oh yeah, the movies are so nice.
Oh yeah, I remember I watched American Sniper like 3 times on one flight.
Dude,
Bro.
literally, when I was going from here to the Philippines, the only movie I watched was Morbius.
Didn't you watch Spy Family too, though?
No, that's not a movie.
Not a
though.
movie, but still.
Yeah, and I also
like,
watched it on my phone, and it was not on the console, so I don't really count that.
Yeah,
But
you
like, the only movie I watched on like the console there was Morbius.
it's so funny that they even have that on the console.
Oh my god.
Like
Yeah.
Morbius, if you turn your brain off, is actually not that bad.
Okay,
Or
but
no,
that's if
never
you turn
watched
your
it.
brain off. Like
Yeah, my brain's like permanently
that's
off
like-
though.
that's half the movie in existence.
Yeah, there's some movies that are super enjoyable if you like don't think about it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, did you guys hear about Cocaine Bear?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
it's
yes.
really popular.
I've been seeing YouTube ads of cocaine.
Yeah,
Bear.
same.
Yeah, same,
Yeah,
I'm
same.
I'm so interested. I'm so interested yet disinterested to watch it.
Oh, I just know the real story. I didn't know they made a movie out of
Wait.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made a movie out of it. It's like
Oh.
airing now. Apparently,
That's
it's doing very
funny.
well in box office. It has like
Hmm
11.8 mil or something like that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I still want to watch the second Avatar movie.
It's very long.
Yeah, I know it's very long.
Like I felt like at some point I wanted to fall asleep.
Not
I
gonna
also
lie,
want to
it's,
watch, dude. I want to watch so many movies. I want to watch the new Black Panther. I want to watch the new Ant-Man.
Honestly,
What else have I
for-
missed? Wait.
for
let me
for
search
me
this.
for me personally, after like Avengers Endgame, I've been or actually since Far From Home, the only MCU movie that I wanted to watch is No Way Home.
You didn't want to watch
Spider-Man- the new
Endgame? Wait,
Spider-Man
is it?
one?
Wasn't
No, no,
Endgame after Far From Home? Or no?
No, Far
not-
From Home was after Endgame.
Yeah, it was.
After that, like I don't know, all the other MCU stuff seems very like saturated now.
I think the after Endgame, it was like not that good anymore. But honestly, I still think like Phase 1 through like 3 are the best, like the peak MCU. Even
Dude,
before
I
Infinity
still-
War.
I still stand by my belief that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the best MCU movie.
Really? For me,
Yes.
it's Winter Soldier is the best movie.
I think
Personally,
Winter's-
I don't really enjoy watching a lot of movies. Like I don't know why. And when someone
Yeah.
asks me, "Do you want to watch a movie?" I'm usually like, "Nah."
Yeah, same. I don't know. I think it's because my attention span is so
yeah,
short.
I think it's your attention span.
I don't like because I find, yeah, I guess like they're too long. But then a lot of the movies my family watches, to me, it's just like a fever dream. It's like
Oh,
they
what
go.
did they watch?
There was this one movie where it's like some cops against some bad guys, typical of that stuff. but they're
Yeah.
like in rural China, and then it's snowing, and then it's just two cops. No, it's two cops in the middle of the mountain. Two cops with their one cop car, driving around, and then like in the middle of nowhere they start a gunfight, and then like literally all the males die.
Dude, okay, a
Like,
lot
I
of
don't
Chinese movies, I feel
know-
like there's no plot. It's just for action.
Yeah.
No, but
Shaolin
that
soccer.
that one was like plot, kind of like not plot heavy, but like I don't know. It's not meant to be just action only. And then all of those just give me like a fever dream kind of vibe, like because I'm sitting there, and then I just lose all sense of time, and then I feel dizzy while watching. I just feel dizzy.
Dude, the old like Chinese
Like-
kung fu movies are so good.
Yo,
I don't know, like, my brain cannot
It's not
handle.
old Jerry.
I know.
My brain cannot handle processing a story through a movie because I feel that like
I mean, you don't read
it
books
feels like that
either,
my
right?
brain literally skips parts of the movie. Like
Oh. Wait, how do
I
you
don't
watch
know.
shows then?
Like
Isn't
because
it the same
for
thing?
shows it's the shorter format,
Oh, I mean,
So
you
then
could just
it, like, helps
pause
me
the
more.
movie.
and then like yeah, well I can't do that while I'm in the cinema.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, you guys,
and then also like I feel that for me the best medium for a story for me to process is probably just games because like it's actually interactive and like it feels that I'm like personally engaged in it.
I think that's
That's
just
the
us
opposite for
having
me.
like a really short attention span problem.
Yeah
I
probably.
think that's the opposite for me because
Dude, that's what happens when you get raised by the internet, bro.
I can't sit through like a game story because it's so long. Like it feels long for me. Since you know how like games a lot of the stuff that you do in story quests, it's like just time consuming or like you're just like walking places. I don't like that part.
It depends on the game.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's true.
Like for Genshin, it's a lot of like fetch quests, walking places, kill thing, go to another place, kill thing.
Yeah, I think for me, the best medium for like us just getting the story is literally a book because I actually like reading.
Oh yeah, reading is actually really like feels.
I cannot read anything unless I already have prior knowledge of said thing and have interest in it.
Yeah,
Dude, you
same.
guys should read Throne of Glass. It's so good. I mean, the first book is like, dude, like after I think it's like the second book, the entire world perception changes, and the world building is so good.
Dude, my manager at Raps, she reads a lot of books.
Oh yeah,
like-
yeah, she does.
I cannot do that. I can't.
When I was a kid, in like elementary, I cleared out almost the entire children's aisle at the Richmond Public. I've read like every single series that I thought was remotely interesting, except
Honestly-
the like horror and like mystery stuff because I thought that was boring,
Like,
and
you
the
know, all
girly stuff,
the-
you know.
All the like dystopian novels that they recommend, like Fahrenheit 451 or whatever it's called.
1984.
1984. What's the other one? Brave New World.
Hunger
like,
Games.
They're really interesting, but then like when I read it, it's the same effect as like those Chinese movies. Like I get a fever dream kind of reaction.
I think it's
Like
very
I feel
important to
physically
find.
dizzy after reading.
I think it's very important to find a author's style that works for you because there's a lot of books that are supposedly good, but I just thought they were not that good because of the author's writing style.
My
The
author
ones
writing
you
style
listed were all
is
dystopian.
non-fictional.
But do you actually
That's
enjoy
a genre,
that?
not a ring style.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the only
actually
books I
enjoy
really
that, or
enjoy
do you-
are non-fictional.
Is that something you enjoy, or it's something that you just want to know the information though?
No, I actually like reading like non-fiction. Like how
Because
this
for
thing
me, there's
works,
not
how
that many like
works.
stories that I found interesting when I was younger that are nonfiction because of how the author like portrays them, especially if it's like a memoir, because they usually use I a lot, right? I feel like they don't describe the setting that much. They just describe how they're feeling. And honestly, when I was a kid, I just didn't care. I just wanted to like, I really like the stories where authors describe the background in like a lot of detail. They'll describe like the smell of the trees, the color of the grass, how the wind feels on your skin, because it lets me like imagine the world and then kind of sink myself into it, and that's
You see-
one of the things that I really like.
Okay, so if you're that's like one of the reasons why I think games are great. Because like they could do that, but without telling you anything other than like maybe like the feel. But you could make a player feel something just based off like discrete details.
Genshin Impact soundtrack background music.
I guess I don't get that. I don't know.
Well, like I know, like I think the thing that's great about games is that it leaves a lot to interpretation. Like
That's similar to books for me, because every time I read a book again, I feel completely different than the last time I read it. Because, well, not completely different, but depending on like either how I felt that day or like what happened in the last couple years since I read it, uh, the perception of the world changes, right? Sometimes there's maybe a really dark world that you read into, but as a kid you're like more focused on the action or how the characters interact with each other. But like when you read it again and you're maybe not in such a good mood, you realize how messed up the world is, and I find that really
that's
interesting.
actually really true. Yeah. When I was younger, I read The Giver for English reader.
Yeah.
When I thought of it, I thought it was like, oh, it's like weird futuristic, haha, funny. Now when I think of it, it's so dystopian, but yet so realistic. It's actually scary.
I feel
Yeah, I
like,
also
okay,
think go for it.
like for me, the books I enjoy are like the ones that I can relate to, like the ones involving teenagers in quote unquote regular lives.
That's interesting. Actually, there's a quote that was like, people usually like books about things that they're missing in their own life. So, for example, if you're really into reading like fantasy or adventure, it means you probably want a sense of adventure in your own life. Or if you really like romance, then you're lonely. There's like a lot of things like that.
That
And
also goes into my anime like choices. I know you guys are all gonna like hate me for this, but I really I enjoy slice of life anime a lot.
I also do.
And I really
I think
don't
slice of
like
life is
those.
good.
I really don't like those adventure animes. Like it's just too much for me.
Oh, I think there's good anime for every genre.
Agreed.
Now you've watched like 3 anime. But yeah, I think honestly there's probably
Bro, I was backing you up and you just killed me. What is this?
You've watched like only action anime, and there's only been 3 of them.
I watched Spike's Family. That's like a hybrid at least.
I guess it's a slice of life-ish, but
Your mom was
I
like some
think-
life fish. Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's good shows for everything. Like, there was a time where I just watched a bunch of like romance anime, and I think there are good ones. There are also a lot of very bad ones, I feel like, though. Same for slice of life. I think there's a way that you can do it that makes it so boring, and then there's a way that you can do it that makes it interesting.
Like my dress up darling.
Yeah.
I smell like a complete like stupid idiot when I'm watching that.
That's a good show. It's pretty cute. I think. Wait, what did I rate it? Let me check. That was a pretty cute show.
Yeah, like I'd watch that before I go to sleep, and then I'd sleep happy, and then I wake up and I just want to bang my head on the headboard.
I feel like that show, like sometimes it makes you happy, and then sometimes you're like, bruh, I'm missing this though.
Yeah, it's like it should have
like,
been me, not
yeah.
him.
Apparently the manga's not very good because the guy never takes action though. Wait, let me look for it. Yeah, I rated it an 8 out of 10, which is pretty high. But I think out of all of the shows that's like slice of life that made me happy, it's Horimiya. Horimiya was so cute. That's like probably my
true.
that's like top 6 for me shows of like all time for anime.
The only not slice of life anime that I enjoyed was Detective Conan.
Yeah. I don't know, like I'm looking at my top anime list right now, and I think the ones that I like they're more action oriented, but they're also like not the hype train ones. They're kind of more, I wouldn't say realistic, but it's like less fantasy.
Yeah, like it's kind of
like-
more about the characters than the action.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. For me too, because like Spy X Family, like that's the only kind of quote unquote action anime I watch.
Like, I don't know. For me, I need the fucking enzymes in my brain to make it excited. So I only want. So like basically the only non-shonen that I watch is Spike's Family.
Actually, Vinland's not a shonen; it's a
Oh,
seinen.
is it? Okay.
I need some kind
well,
of.
well,
It isn't
I-
shonen either, to be honest.
But like, yeah,
Wait,
I
let me
could.
check.
I think that Chainsaw Man, I also really liked it because it also built up a lot about its characters.
Yeah,
And
I think
like
emotional
it
connection
it showed a lot
makes
of
a good show.
like it made a lot of character development throughout the show. Like if you contrast like literally almost any of the characters from the beginning to the end, they're very different, and I really like that.
Yeah. I think character development makes like a good character. Like I made this argument before against Niles and Max, where I think that Kazuha isn't really a good character. He's cool, but he's not like a good character. Cause
Well, yeah, he doesn't
he
really go
doesn't
through any
really
significant
change.
development.
Um I think that like in order to be a quote unquote good character, they have to have some sort of development from the beginning to the end. But there are characters that like it doesn't show their development in the show and I still think they're good characters. For example, like actually no, that's not a good example. I guess I'll just use it anyway. Somebody like Iroh from Avatar, it doesn't show his development throughout the show, but it shows his backstory, which shows his development. So I guess that's a pretty good way to use it, where you don't have to like consistently change from the beginning to the end of the show, but you have to show that there was some sort of change to lead them to be that person.
I'm trying to
Cyberpunk
think
is
right
just
now.
sci-fi. It's not a shonen.
I see.
Because Vinland isn't either. Spy Family is
Slice of
not.
life.
I don't know if I'd consider it's like slice of life action. It's like not really slice of life, because there's a weird concept behind it. It's like following the lives of characters that don't exist in like our reality, and it's not like bound by worldly rules. It's like a non-realistic slice of life, I guess, which like by the standpoint of like how the characters work, not like that their lives couldn't exist. Like theoretically there could be a similar family dynamic, but it would be toned down in real life.
So before we carry on with our podcast, I would just like to say that this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Grammarly. Do you have an essay coming up soon and you can't find anyone you can trust to proofread it? Do you want to sound more professional in your emails so that you make a good impression on your employer? Or is English second language and you are struggling with the basics? Well, it sounds like you need Grammarly. Grammarly is an AI-powered writing assistant that improves your writing by highlighting your mistakes and suggesting solutions using natural language processing. When starting with Grammarly, you are able to get those blue squiggly lines that pop up on Microsoft Word or Google Docs when you make a spelling mistake or grammar mistake. And this feature would be possible wherever typing is possible. And with Grammarly Premium, it is even able to suggest improvements in structure, clarity, tone, and your variety of vocabulary. Personally, though, I've been using Grammarly Premium since the beginning of my IB journey, and it has helped me immensely when writing not only my English essays, but also my chemistry and physics labs. For example, I used a lot of passive voice in my writing, which made my points in the essays weaker, and it created a less confident tone, and Grammarly corrected me and suggested that I use active voice whenever possible, and then my points immediately became not only clearer, but I was asserting them stronger. And in fact, I am even using Grammarly right now to write this message. All in all, Grammarly is an excellent tool for not only students, but also employees and adults to use if you want to instantly improve your writing skills. It is a very accessible software, as it is available across basically all mainstream operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and even mobile devices. And when using it in a browser, it can also be used as installed as a Grammarly web extension. All in all, use code Sigma all capitalized, to get a 10% off of the first month of Grammarly Premium. And thanks again to Grammarly for sponsoring this episode. Anyways, let's carry on.
All right. Well, do you guys think AI will destroy the world or make it a better place? I guess I can start. I don't think it will do either, actually. I would say that it might destroy humanity though, because I think it will make humans dependent on these like machines, similar to in Wall-E, which I keep bringing it up, but it'll come to a point where like even walking, which isn't machine learning, but like even walking will be dependent on like the machines because it's easier. And then when it comes to basically anything, like thinking deeply about things, we'll just use machine learning because it's so much easier, and people tend to like whatever is the easiest. I would say that if we continue with machine learning, I think within maybe 100 or 200 years, people of that time will be nowhere near as smart as somebody from like 100 years ago.
Okay, so you're kind of arguing like over reliance.
Yes, but I don't think it will destroy the world itself. I think it's only targeted against humans. So probably the rest of like, nature, the environment, the economy, it might still be all right, and it'll also create like a pretty big
Wait, the economy?
yeah, I don't think it'll affect that much. I don't think it'll affect the economy that much.
Wasn't the economy very human driven though?
Yeah, like I don't think it'll affect the society portion, but I think it'll affect the like individuals. So I think humanity as like a whole will get dumber and will be very dependent on the machines, but I don't think it'll like end the world. Like I don't think, for example, the Terminator will happen, or like AI will just like randomly start killing us, but I think it will destroy us maybe from the inside out.
Okay, I don't think that will randomly start killing us. I think that
It-
at some point someone's gonna make just an AI that's like just out there. I just like what's stopping
me-
some really smart guy from just getting really unhinged in the future. And
That's
start
true.
making like serial killer robots.
They're just
Right?
like, oh, you know what would be really funny? And then
If I made a robot that kills people, it's like a Michael Reeves video that goes wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can AI also be used to like further develop technological advancements?
Yes, that it can, but then I think that if we rely on AI too much, it's kind of like what Luke was arguing. It will cause an over reliance on AI,
Mm,
which makes humanity and people as a whole just dumber.
I mean, funny thing is,
I very much agree. with Luke
Technically,
on-
we're having like there's an over reliance on computers.
yeah.
yeah, that is true, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I think
and
we're
then-
dumber than like people 20 years ago.
Yeah,
in school.
there's a reason why our memory is so ass compared to before. To people before. It was before. If you wanted to find
Or
information,
even to
you
ourselves
needed-
before.
Yeah.
Yes, true. I also think that creativity will be sort of lost or like at least suppressed in the future, because I don't think that AI or like machines can really be creative, because everything that they take is already pre-existing and then they just build on those ideas by like mashing them together, but there will never be a truly new idea because it's like all taken from things that already exist. Whereas I think someday potentially people can make like actual new ideas that like are completely original. I don't know how it'll happen because everyone's, influenced by what they've seen in the past and things, but I think there will come a point where somehow somebody will create a completely original idea.
Speaking of AI, funny moment of the day. I was playing chess with ChatGPT, and then I just straight up told it I checkmated your king with my queen and won.
You
What was the
won?
response?
What?
Yep.
What was
You
his
just gaslighted
response?
ChatGPT.
Like I was playing normal with it up to a point where I just went like, you know what? I checkmate your
Checkmate.
king with my queen.
And then did it
just
just like
conceded.
No, it says I apologize. I must have missed that move. Congratulations on winning the game.
bruh?
Wait. Well, I'm just gonna start a fresh game and see if it does that.
So yeah, is machine learning reliable?
I mean, from
To some extent.
ChatGPT, I feel like just the chess part of it has been so inconsistent over like a few weeks.
I mean, I think it's probably because ChatGPT wasn't made for that purpose.
That is
Yeah.
true. But if it does have signs of machine learning, it should know like generally how pieces should be moving.
Yeah, but I don't know, cause something that isn't like focused on chess probably won't be so good at chess.
Right, but like it's not even like that it's not like godly
Is
at
it-
chess. It's just like trolling at this point. Like
Yeah, but it's a language bot though. It's designed to like to mimic human language. It's not designed to understand how to play games. Like it's like similar to asking it to draw something. It can't draw something because that's not its intent, even though it has probably scanned like art books or like different types of art through machine learning. It's not gonna be able to draw because that's not what it was made for.
Illusion.
I just realized all the movies I enjoy are like all action movies.
Really?
So your taste
Yeah.
in movie and
And
anime
anime
are
is
completely different.
opposite.
Top Gun, Top Gun 2,
Top
Nonstop,
Gun 2.
Non
John Wick?
Stop, American Sniper,
Among Us.
two Chinese. No, there's Operation Red Sea, which is a Chinese one. The Transformers one, up to number
Yeah,
3
I'm
because
Yeah.
the
Megatron death scene.
the last Transformers movie, like there was one where Bumblebee's car model just looks absolute garbage, and I hated it.
Yeah, I pretty much watch like all types of media for like everything, but except horror. I don't like horror because I don't like being
Yeah.
scared. Although I do like real horror. So like I like just reading things about, psychopaths and serial killers and tortures and things because I think that's pretty interesting. But if it's like a jump scare, I don't like it.
I think
Oh, you know
horror
those
is I think horror
Yeah,
is also
yeah.
like overly cliche, like how they plot it out.
Are you an IB student who is out late studying at the library for your ITGS test? Are you worried that somebody might be breaking into your house at this very moment? Well, with Ring, you don't have to worry anymore. The newest Spotlight Cam Pro model is able to connect and stream directly to your phone. It even comes with a motion detector that will notify you if there's suspicious activity, and the floodlight attached to the camera allows you to see the unwanted guest clearly. If you want to make a purchase or learn more about Ring and their products, you can go to ring.com to check out their products. That's www.ring.com. And now, back to the podcast.
My favorite games, my favorite story games, are often the ones that are like extremely. Like my favorite game that's a story game is Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, and that one's like 110 hours. Yeah, and then like other games that I played like Hades. That one,
Yeah.
it's like kind of long, not really. I can't really get that engrossed into it though. I know it feels like that in Hades the characters are actually built upon quite well, but then the it just doesn't have the same effect like as if they were developed for like a really really long time, and you can see like the subtle differences as things happen to the characters.
Would you count Genshin Impact as a like a story game?
Part of it, yeah.
I think people play Genshin for different reasons.
If you only play for like the Archon quests, yes, it's a story game. The way I played, it's a gacha game.
I think people play Genshin for different
first
reasons.
and foremost is just a gacha game. It's just made so then people gamble for characters they want.
I guess I just don't get into games as much because I'm like, I think it's because when I play games, my main goal is to relax and have fun, so I don't think as much. Versus when I'm like reading a book, I probably am gonna read it for the story, like purely the story. Um, well, obviously, because it's a book. What else are you gonna do with a book? Or like even a movie. Like movies, sometimes I'll watch it, but not to purely indulge in the story. I might watch it for the music, or I might watch it as background noise. But sometimes I'm not fully paying attention. Whereas a book, I probably am.
Well, like that's the thing is with the game. There's like so much freedom as to how
How you want to enjoy it?
you want to enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. That's like kind of what I was saying earlier. Like as you mentioned with the book, like what else are you gonna do other than like focus on the story, right?
Yeah.
Like with a lot of games, yes, you could like just solely focus on the story, but then you could also just be going around killing things.
Yeah.
Hades, you could do. You get to. It's like you get to choose a lot in Hades, like how you want to play. There's a lot of variation in the gameplay. There's a lot of things that you can pay attention to or not pay attention to.
How
And
emotionally invested do you get in with game characters?
heavily depends. With
Like, do you cry when like a really good story arc kind of like hits hard?
the only game that has made me cry is Just Go.
That's not story based though.
It isn't. It's
Wait,
just losing my R bar or my rank.
Oh,
But
my
like,
bro.
but like Persona, it does make me like have the feels. Has it made me cry? No. But
I
like,
mean,
Oh, okay.
I don't
yeah.
think any game has made me cry before, but I
Yeah,
did
me
get
neither.
sad at the end of the Titanfall 2.
Like the thing, I don't know. I don't get emotionally invested in like game characters that much. I get invested in like I think more things that aren't self-insert. Because
Wait,
in
Remy?
games, right, you're kind of in it. You're like in the game. In like a book though, you kind of understand like the thoughts of the character and their psychology and how the character thinks about life. And there's just certain characters that you see that like don't deserve the ending that they get. Or even in um anime or movies. That there's like things where more powerful than in games, at least for me.
Yeah, I have cried from books before.
Yeah, I have to. Books and there's like one anime that I cried from. Actually, yeah, just one. There's like others that I got pretty close, but there's one that was like actually really bad and I didn't like realize it. It's Death Parade. Death Parade was really good. Well, there's some plot holes, but the emotions were really good.
Undertale
Um,
kind of made me emotional.
which one?
Undertale.
Undertale?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't played through it, so I don't really know the characters or whatnot. I don't think there's
Do you
like a
think
really good story that doesn't have an emotional connection.
do you think like AI can have like emotional connections to things?
Not yet.
Because like I said to Chat GPT, I love you, and it was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, but it like knows that. Well, at least for ChatGPT, it's not programmed to have emotion.
Hmm.
Like
But
you
do you
can
think
even
like
ask
through
it
do
if
you
it
think
loves anything, and it says it's incapable of feeling emotion.
okay, but do you think like through machine learning it would be able to
It would be able to
like
mimic
have
it, I
learn some
think.
kind of emotion?
I think it'd be able to mimic emotion, but not legitimately feel it.
Find emotion.
Um, that is a good point. Why don't we search it up, guys? Okay.
Emotion. A natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstance, mood, or relationships with others. The other one is instinctive or intuitive feeling as distinguished from reasoning or knowledge.
Okay, I want to put emphasis on the natural part,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you consider that emotions are only true emotions if they're natural, does that mean if you take antidepressants, those aren't really emotions?
Antidepressants like kind of make people numb anyways.
That's true. But like, for example, yeah, I guess that would be the case then. It's not actually emotion.
I mean,
It's just a
depression
semblance of
itself-
emotion.
Depression itself technically isn't an emotion. It's an illness, right? Sadness.
Yeah,
Sadness,
Mm.
that's an emotion.
Yeah, I think it is an emotion. Because you're not depression itself is not an emotion, but how you feel when you're depressed is an emotion.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like depression, how you feel like if you're feeling sad, right? It's on and off. You're not like constantly sad all the time. If you're depressed, you're still not constantly sad all the time. There'll be times where you don't feel it as much. And then there's times where it's really, really bad. There's like always I guess ups and downs. Like there's crashes, right, for people. So even if you're having a good day and you're depressed, you probably won't be sad for the entire day, but maybe if you go home at night, you'll crash and then it just feels terrible. So I think that maybe depression itself isn't an emotion, but the things you feel while you have depression are emotions.
You can get happy when you're.
Sad happiness.
You can be happy when you're depressed, I think.
Yeah.
It's just your base state is being sad, but you can change it. You can get more sad, you can get angry, you can get happy. Because for most people, supposedly the base state is just like peace, I guess. It's like
Yeah, like
being
no
calm.
Kind of,
Hello, everyone. I am back.
which is a good thing.
Oh,
I
I
think
know.
people should strive to be at peace rather than strive to be happy, because being like happy is it's fleeting, and I think it's not really sustainable in the long run. So
you're gonna like lose that at some point.
yeah, you can't
like,
just
lose the
have your
happiness at some
base
point.
as being happy. I think your base should be like maybe being satisfied. Satisfaction is a good base. Now, do you give an answer on like if you feel emotional connection through games,
I do.
like the same extent as other mediums?
I think, yeah, definitely.
Because I think I feel the
Like,
least emotionally
I-
connected to game characters versus like movie show.
Brother, because that's
and-
because you play Genshin
books.
Impact and Valorant.
No, but I've played other games, like even like Pokemon. Pokemon's
Well,
pretty
Pokemon
story
is so
driven.
Pokemon is so fucking bland, honestly.
Oh,
Okay,
some of the
God damn.
backstories are pretty messed up.
Yeah, but then like that's basically the same as Genshin though. Your argument like
I
between an
guess.
interesting character and a good character, like a backstory in Genshin can be really dark. Like Xiao, for example. Literally, watch all of his like
I think
Adeptal
Xiao's
brothers
a pretty.
die.
I think
And
Xiao's a
then-
pretty decent character. He just gets
Okay.
boring, like because he doesn't change in the actual thing.
Not gonna
Exactly,
lie,
and that's basically the same with Pokemon.
I like the Genshin Impact characters, especially the Archons or like
I like them, but I don't think I'm emotionally connected to them. Except the
What?
yeah.
I don't know.
the
Zhang
ones
Li,
that
Zhang
I
Li story
that I
quests
like.
make me feel a certain kind of way, you know.
Like Lisa or Yelan or
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Eula's
Like,
ancestors used
I-
to own
I-
slaves.
yeah, I know. That's why I like Eula.
Wait, what? What did
That's
Kevin
why I
say?
want to roll for Eula.
Eula literally doesn't own slaves, but okay.
No, her family did though, so
Yeah.
you can bring it back
Oh.
maybe.
Bring it back, maybe.
I like how her entire character is built upon like writing the
Also,
roles
she's
of
good
the
at
clan and
dancing, and that's
disassociation.
a green flag
and
for
then,
sure.
and then Luke is like, you know what? I think she should have slaves.
Yeah, no, I can convince her. No, I mean if I'm willing, then it's not that bad, you know. It's like not real.
I don't know. I feel that in Chainsaw Man, I actually developed a connection to like a lot of the characters there, like compared to some of the characters in games that I played. I feel that the connection to the ones in Chainsaw Man is stronger. Like there's
that's
some
fair.
characters in Persona 5 that I don't really care about, to be honest.
And you
Um,
care almost about all of the Chainsaw Man characters.
Not all, but
Well,
like,
all the main ones.
like Power Aki,
Ah, okay, that's fair.
and I guess Denji.
How about like the side characters? Like, okay, I can't remember. their
Benny?
name. Yeah, sure, Kopeni, or
Kopeni
like
car.
the Sensei, or like
What about
Um,
Kopeni car?
I-
even
guys?
like Makima, right? Makima's the bad guy.
Fucking hate Makima, bro.
Same. Oh my
Really?
god, I hate her so much.
Dude,
I hate her so
I
much.
think she's such a good villain.
Oh yeah, she's a great villain.
Yeah, good villain.
But I hate
because
her.
we hate her so much.
Dude, I'm like, the way that she outplayed everyone, I'm like, yo, that is so good.
Yeah, except I hate her so
Wait,
much.
are you guys interested in reading the Chainsaw Man manga? Because like me and Luke are probably gonna enter.
So wait, I can stop recording now. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can stop recording.
What about you, Daniel?
Outro.
Thanks for watching. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
okay.
okay. We're gonna go talk off of recording.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.